It began as just another headline in the never-ending chaos of Washington politics. Senator John Kennedy sues Adam Schiff for $80 million. But beneath the dramatic title was a political firestorm unlike anything Capitol Hill had seen in years. The lawsuit wasn't just symbolic. It was pointed, personal, and backed by an arsenal of evidence and legal firepower. Senator Kennedy, the sharp-tongued Louisiana Republican known for his down-home quips and unapologetic critiques, had officially declared war on Congressman Adam Schiff, one of the most vocal Democrats in the House and a figure no stranger to controversy. At the heart of the $80 million lawsuit were accusations that Schiff had used his national platform to spread what Kennedy called reckless and knowingly false statements about him. In a series of high-profile interviews over the past year, Schiff had repeatedly alluded to Kennedy being involved in undisclosed foreign contacts, and suggested that the senator had benefited financially from what he described as shadow dealings that threatened national security. These claims had not gone unnoticed. Several media outlets ran with the narrative, painting Kennedy as a questionable figure, one who possibly had ties to foreign governments through shell corporations and private energy investments. Kennedy, who had never been known to shy away from a fight, wasn't just angry, he was livid. And he had receipts. At a fiery press conference outside the Russell Senate office building, Kennedy made his stance crystal clear. "I'm suing not because my feelings are hurt, but because I will not sit by while someone lies about me to the American people." Congressman Schiff made false accusations without evidence. He did it on purpose. He knew what he was doing. And now he's going to face the consequences. The statement was delivered in Kennedy's signature Southern drawl, but there was nothing sweet or lighthearted about it. He was deadly serious. As news of the lawsuit spread, cable news exploded. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all of them ran wall-to-wall coverage. Legal experts debated the merits of the case, political strategists speculated on the fallout, and social media turned into a digital battlefield. Hashtags like #KennedySchiff, #political defamation, and #DCClash trended globally. Pundits argued over whether this was a strategic distraction or a genuine reckoning for political accountability. Meanwhile, Schiff maintained a conspicuous silence. The California Democrat, usually quick to respond to controversy with a fiery soundbite, released no official comment in the days following the lawsuit. Reporters staked out his office, but he avoided them. Anonymous sources within his staff claimed he was in deep consultations with legal counsel and party leadership. Some speculated he might countersway. Others feared the lawsuit could uncover uncomfortable truths from Schiff's own dealings. Then, in a surprise move that stunned Washington, Schiff agreed to appear live for a primetime interview on America Speaks, one of the most watched political programs in the country. The interview would be live, unedited, and hosted by veteran journalist Maria Bennett, a tough but respected figure known for asking the hard questions. The nation tuned in. The studio lights came up, and Schiff walked in with the posture of a man who had something important to say. He looked calm, but behind his eyes was a tension that even the best makeup couldn't hide. After a brief introduction, Maria got straight to the point. "Congressman, Senator Kennedy has sued you for $80 million. Do you stand by your previous statements about him?" Schiff didn't blink. He leaned forward slightly and said, "Maria, I'm not here to defend or deny. I'm here to clarify. Because the truth is, there's more to this story than even I initially realized. And what I've learned in the past 72 hours has forced me to reconsider what I once thought I knew." Maria raised an eyebrow, clearly taken aback. Are you saying you were wrong? I'm saying the intelligence I was given, and which I based my public statements on, has since been updated. Significantly. What I said before was based on a flawed assessment. I now have reason to believe Senator Kennedy was misidentified in one of our key intelligence briefings. And if that's the case, then I may have unfairly implicated him. And that's something I take seriously. The studio went silent for a full beat. Across the country, viewers sat stunned. Schiff's words had changed the entire tone of the scandal. This wasn't just political mudslinging anymore. This was the suggestion that a serious intelligence failure had caused one of the most divisive accusations in recent history. And worse, that the public had been misled because of it. The ramifications were just beginning, and Kennedy, watching from his Senate office, was already planning his next move. The morning after Adam Schiff's bombshell TV appearance, Washington was in chaos. News outlets scrambled to dissect every word, while social media lit up with confusion, shock, and outrage. Had Schiff really just walked back months of damning allegations? Had an $80 million lawsuit forced one of the most powerful figures in Congress to admit he may have been wrong? Senator John Kennedy, who had watched the interview in real time from his Capitol Hill office, wasted no time responding. Less than 12 hours later, he stood once again before a cluster of reporters and flashing cameras, this time with a different tone. I've been in politics long enough to know that a lot of folks talk big when the lights are on, Kennedy said, his voice calmer but no less sharp. But last night, Congressman Schiff said something I never thought I'd hear. The truth, or at least a part of it. If he's serious, if he truly believes the information he relied on was flawed, then the American people deserve to see the rest of it. And so do I. What followed in the next 72 hours was unlike anything Washington had seen in recent memory. Schiff, facing mounting pressure from both Democrats and Republicans, agreed to release a redacted version of the classified intelligence briefing that he claimed had shaped his accusations. The report, cleared by national security officials for limited disclosure, revealed a jaw-dropping error. The data used to implicate Kennedy had been based on a misidentification by a third-party contractor working with U.S. intelligence. A series of international financial transactions had been incorrectly linked to a John K. Kennedy, a businessman from the UK, not the U.S. Senator from Louisiana. The moment the truth hit the airwaves, the narrative flipped. News outlets that had once questioned Kennedy's integrity now issued retractions. Political rivals who had distanced themselves from him rushed to publicly express regret. The intelligence agencies involved in the briefing launched internal reviews. And the American people, watching from their living rooms and phones, were left wondering how such a monumental mistake could have happened in the first place. Schiff, to his credit, didn't hide from the fallout. In an extraordinary speech delivered on the floor of the House of Representatives, he admitted full responsibility. I believed I was acting on credible intelligence, he said, his voice somber. But I accept that I was wrong. I allowed flawed data to guide my words. And for that, I sincerely apologize to Senator Kennedy, to his family, and to the American public. The apology was met with stunned silence across the chamber. Even some of Schiff's harshest critics couldn't help but acknowledge the weight of his words. It wasn't just rare, it was almost unheard of for a senior member of Congress to publicly walk back a high-profile accusation with such humility. What happened next, however, was even more surprising. Senator Kennedy, armed with the upper hand, legal standing, and public sympathy, took the podium on the Senate floor the following day. His voice was strong, but his tone was measured. Congressman Schiff did something most people in this building wouldn't have the guts to do. He admitted he was wrong, Kennedy said. And while I can't forget the damage done, I can recognize when a man tries to make it right. So, I will be withdrawing my lawsuit. Not because of lost interest in justice, but because we've already won something bigger, accountability. The chamber erupted in rare bipartisan applause. For a moment, the usual noise of political division gave way to something almost forgotten: mutual respect. Journalists began to refer to the incident as a watershed moment for political discourse. Pundits, typically quick to criticize, praised both men, Kennedy for his restraint, and Schiff for his willingness to admit fault. Even late-night comedians, who had mocked both during the scandal, applauded the civility that followed. In the days and weeks that followed, the shockwaves continued. Intelligence agencies began overhauling vetting procedures to prevent similar misidentifications. Congressional leaders proposed new standards for public statements based on classified information. A joint committee was even formed, co-chaired by both Kennedy and Schiff, to investigate how false intelligence can lead to public misinformation. Despite their differences, the two lawmakers found themselves in unexpected collaboration, turning what began as a personal and political feud into a campaign for reform. The hashtag #TruthMatters remained trending for nearly a week, and talk shows began referring to the event as the Kennedy-Schiff turn, a phrase symbolizing a rare but powerful shift toward integrity in public service. What started as an $80 million defamation lawsuit turned into something far greater: a national lesson in humility, the dangers of flawed information, and the rare power of accountability and grace in the face of conflict. In a city too often defined by its chaos, Kennedy and Schiff reminded the nation, if only for a moment, that truth, however messy, still matters.